As we have got in the top left-hand side, it's going to be our red Terran player to start this series, Cure. And man, surely it's only a matter of time before someone picks him up for the upcoming WTL season. That really feels like it can't be something that's too far from happening, as he already sends an SCV out onto the map. In the bottom right, our blue Protoss player from Storm is a MaxPax. Game 1 for him. In this best of 5, let's see who's going to keep their winner bracket dream alive, and who's instead going to be dropping down to the lower bracket. We won't talk about where in the lower bracket they drop down to yet, because that doesn't matter too much until we obviously know the winners of the lower bracket rounds. We'll talk a bit more about that in the second half of the day. As this first barracks goes down right across the map, obviously we could kind of tell that was probably going to be the case from where we were getting set up and where the how quickly the SCV left. We are going to be seeing that proxied barracks coming straight down, getting that set, getting that ready to go for these early stages. As we just have ourselves the barracks coming through and the gateway and the probe coming up as well. Everything getting established for the first few moments here. Just getting ready to see where things are going to go. Very nice. Very nice so far. Well, obviously, MaxPax can be an absolute killer in PvT. He sometimes feels though his PvT does become that little bit predictable, right? Because he loves his 4-gate blink, and you know, there are definitely parts of MaxPax's PvT that sometimes I feel like get a little bit stale and Terrans figure it out, but then he always finds a way to make his PvT look really good again not too long after that. So yeah, we'll see what kind of builds he brings in this series. Even if he does 4-gate blink and it doesn't work, he is one of the absolute best at figuring out ways to, come out of that and still make it an okay situation, right? He's absolutely one of the few players that can do that with some amount of reliability even. So definitely some interesting moments coming up throughout the course of a best of 5 between Cure and MaxPax. You do not expect this to be plain simple and easy. Expect this to be all sorts of fun. We're going to go nibble at the probe a little bit. It's going to get first kill. Of course, remember this was a fully proxied barracks, so not too surprising to see the first Reaper finding some success because it just arrives that early. This little investment from Cure is going to pay off for him with 2 probes killed initially. And he is going to have a second Reaper on the way as well, so you'll have a little bit more harass still to happen. Currently building a Widow Mine so we can stay safe against some of the initial Protoss unit prods. Last thing you want is to have the Protoss unit suddenly poking your base and finding more damage than what you've dealt. Because that's a very quick way to lose out on, well, obviously your advantage, but just kind of what you've set up for in general, right? No point making the investment of the proxy racks if you're just going to give up the lead it can get you. So Widow Mine's going to help you to defend. The Reapers even came back for a couple moments. Now we've got one Zealot that is going to consider perhaps going up this ramp and into the main base for a few moments here. Try to decide what it wants to do. Reaper's actually going to dive in towards the naturals. Just going to dive straight into that. We're just going to be seeing our Stalker take a couple of shots off. Stalker firing up some more Reapers just at the front. The first Reaper very nearly going down, but not quite in the end. Now Warpgate and Phoenix continue to build through as well. So all of that still coming up for the moment. Bringing a lot of this in through these early stages of the game right now. And Barracks continues to head to the upper left. It's going to be seen about halfway done. Another one that's building up. Just going to get this home, and then obviously Cure can continue into this TVP mid-game for himself. See what sort of direction we continue to move towards. And as you do have the Robo facility continuing in just for the moment. And a Phoenix on the way out as well, so still bringing that up and into action as well. Phoenix already going to start hitting this medevac. This is actually going to be kind of rough. Can we actually get ourselves these Widow Mines to do much here? We're going to lift a second one. The third one will fire for 3 probes. That one mine actually gets the work of the other 2 done. 1 probe per Widow Mine is usually seen as an okay-ish trade. Just messy from MaxPax when he set up to do so well anyways. We actually do have even more workers going down. The Reapers in the main get a few kills. The probe on the low ground on the natural went down to 1 more Widow Mine that got dropped and then reburrowed. I mean, come on, this was ridiculous, right? Medevac in 3 mines, and they get, with the Reapers diving in 2, combines for 8 kills. The Medevac gets out alive against Phoenix. I think the Medevac just died, didn't it? Yeah, okay. Well, the Medevac doesn't get out alive, but even still, I think this turns into a very good opening for Cure, who's going to be very happy with how things have gone in these early few minutes. Now Cyclone continuing through is just about to finish up as well. We are seeing our Phoenix diving forward. The Raven gets taken out. It's going to be seeing the Cyclone locking on there and continue to push those Phoenix out about over to that right-hand side. Starport going to go, dropping down onto a tech lab. Factory going to make way for a tech lab of the barracks. We're actually going to go and rebuild the Raven. So we're actually going to decide to build a new Raven after losing the first. It's a risky choice because it's not just, it's still expensive, but it's also a massive time investment on that starport where you're now building a Raven instead of moving towards potential, another add-on or, medevacs already, for example. These are all consequences and costs that you have to really kind of keep in mind and account for when you decide to make a play just like that one, which is rebuilding the Raven. And then is it going to be worth it? It's going to have lower energy, it's not going to have as much banked up. I mean, it might be a bit of a surprise, though. Like, if your opponent feels like they've killed the Raven already, it's like, okay, great, MaxPax now doesn't think that he has to deal with the Raven in the big push. Then, boom, the Raven shows up. Matrix is your key units that you were not keeping safe. Maybe that's the somewhat of the plan here as well. Stim Combat +1 all coming through. A couple of Marauders, Marines on the way out. And missile turret starting up. Some depots coming in as well as we get things settled for the early few moments. And our Phoenix is going to come back around, loop around to the top. Marines are here trying to greet those Phoenix a little bit. Phoenix will take a few shots of damage. Missile turret starts to fire up. Cyclone getting locked on and just pushing the Phoenix away for a few moments as well. And this army begins to move out onto the map. Phoenix will be very controlling for a little while. Combat Shield is about to finish. Got the +1 attack upgrade, which is going to be done. Just a few moments as well. Our Phoenix still going to be there, poking away. Medevac taking some damage. Does the Phoenix know about this push? That's one of the benefits of these Phoenix as well. You know exactly what's going on. So let's see our Phoenix. Continuing through, MaxPax is going to settle down on the 3 bases still and say to Kyo, if you want to break me on 3 bases, then let's try and, you're very welcome to. Give it a go if you'd like. Here's Reza set up here, but we actually lose a medevac straight away. The little lift on the couple of bio units there don't really do too much. It's just going to be seeing our Colossi coming forward. Our Phoenix coming in as well. We do drop a couple of Matrix down, so that Raven putting use out. Here is breaking through on the left-hand side. 5 probes going down, starting to knock down pylons as well. MaxPax is not having a good time cleaning this up at all. I mean, Widowmine's going off, picking their way through some of these Phoenix and getting a lot of damage done. I mean, that's absolutely adding up. Probes pull back away one side, then going to go back over the other. We're just going to have our Marines loading back into the medevac. Doesn't look as though they're going to do too much else just yet. Still got Colossi building up at the front. Marines will unload, just going to go after our pylon. I'm just going to be seeing the Marines still finding damage. Q is still the one that's doing very, very well for the moment, as our Temple Archives, our Nexus, our Prism, our Zealots will continue through with the +1 in charge on the way as well. MaxPax at least getting to a next stage of this game where obviously it didn't necessarily seem as though that might be the case with how much damage he was just taking there. Again, charging +1, continue through the few High Templar. We'll continue up as well. Just continue to bring that in. Zealots will cruise around. Matt Cure is once again in the bottom left corner. So Zealots are going to hit the 3rd base of Cure, but then Cure has the potential to continue pushing around the bottom. Again, our +1 attack upgrade is going to be finished on the Forge. A couple of Widow Mines are going to half the Zealot count on this counter-attack, so that's already a pretty good start. Now we've got this Nexus finished off, and MaxPax again just hasn't really started to control the Terran player at all thus far in the game. As we do see now, a couple more Widow Mines going off, a couple more units getting blown on up. That Nexus, our Zealots will continue to come in and just having ourselves the couple of Ghosts still producing as well. So all of that coming through as our Zealots in the main continue to get fighting. A couple of Ghosts keep on putting some damage out. Now a big stim in from this Bio Army, going to knock down a Nexus on the third base again. And MaxPax is like halfway across the map with the most meager kind of, all-in army ever. He's actually going to recall it home. Kira sees it, says, I don't need a fight. I'm already doing so much work. The last thing I actually need to rush into is a fight or anything, so he doesn't. Again, he's not wrong. He's absolutely fine to just avoid the fight for the moment, as he's still killing SCVs across the map. The very kind of withdrawn number of Zealots is just going to be somehow finding a lot of eco damage, like way more than you'd expect. Kira letting MaxPax somewhat hang into this game, dithering around on that potential cleanup. And he's also got SCVs that are been a bit dithering themselves, just sat there, not really doing anything between the engineering bay that's building and the Ghost Academy, derping out a little bit, so that ain't exactly ideal either. As we do have this army again, I just don't feel like this Protoss army is scary, but Kira is kind of a little bit here and there trying to clean up still. 23 SCVs lost from Kira. He really did take so much damage. Bio spreads out, going to chase forward. Archon going down. The Colossi going to be getting picked away at as well. So there goes 1, there goes 2, here goes 3. Jesus, MaxPax says Kira is going to have game number 1 of this best of 5 going his way. Let's get ourselves deep into it. In the top left-hand corner, we have got the red Terran player. This is Kira. In the bottom right, our blue Protoss, down 1 map, is going to be MaxPax. Working our way into game number 2. As we get this set up and ready to roll onwards. We do have a probe and a gateway coming out. Probe just going to go and journey forwards, have a little bit of a check to see what's going on. Of course, it's the winner bracket semi-finals, guys. Winner of this plays beyond in the winner bracket finals. That's also top 3 guaranteed if you win today, if you make it into that winner bracket finals. That's a big event with a lot of money on the line. Top 3 means you've already guaranteed yourself $4,000 of prize money. So yeah, pretty big series. Well, as these go around, Probe will take a few shots of damage. Our Cybercore Nexus all coming up. Just going to be seeing the command center and going in the center as well. Factory on the way then to start us out on the side of Q. Obviously, really open last game with that heavy proxy. Super proxied up barracks. Do have our Adept just about to pop out. Still got the warp gate coming through. And again, the command center building on the low ground, getting that natural expansion up and rolling. As our factory's about to finish, our bunker's about to be done. Adept just continues to move towards the upper left side. Factory gonna land down onto the reactor. As we got ourselves the Marine in a bunker. Just going to turn that Adept away. CC is about to finish up. Twilight Council about halfway done. Warp Gate still halfway about. And a couple of Hellions will continue through as well. So all of this still getting established here. Hellions going to be chasing that Adept down. Adept taking some shots. Just going to be seeing a couple of Order Mines are halfway done. And the Adept is going to try and recall from the upper left-hand side. The Hellions get there. Just going to pick their way through it a little bit as an extra gateway going down at the front. A Blink upgrade starting. Warp Gate's about to finish. How many gates are we going to? We've gone 2, heading to 3. Obviously not surprised to see MaxPax out of 4th as well, perhaps. So there's definitely possibilities from him. Definitely chances. See what we end up doing again. A couple of gates in the robo coming out. The Blink is continuing through our Hellions. Moving their way towards the front there. The Stalker and the wall should be enough to keep the couple of Hellions at bay. And again, the Medivacs are loading up to start dropping for cures, so he will load up the 4 Widow Mines. There was just moments in that last game as well, though, where MaxPax was just not as good at it. Like, he felt like he had all the defense needed to deal with the mines, and then boom. He just sat and took, like, so much damage anyways. Losing those probes obviously offset him into a pretty rough position, and really made it difficult for him to deal with some of the timings his opponent was then showing up with. Here with the mines unloading. As you do blow up 2, 3 workers straight away. Probes go down. It's honestly not a bad start, but it was 4 mines of kind of drops as well. Still have 2 of them alive, so obviously with 2 mines alive, you can come in and pressure again. Gonna be seeing our Stalkers open in beneath that prism, ready to go. Make a play up towards the main base here. Off we go, as you do have the Widow Mines. Actually will get off for a Stalker and 4 more probes. Stalkers blink in, so here's the pressure from MaxPax. Time for him to undo some of the work that Q has been putting in across the map. If it goes down, a few additional Stalkers get warped in. Just going to be having our pressure continues through. Marines, we're taking some shots. We blink forward for the other siege tank here. Do we have enough DPS to knock down some Stalkers and to really make this survivable for Q? Pulling a lot of SCVs at the moment as he tries to ensure that MaxPax does not see success with this Stalker onslaught. A new tank is up. I even get a shot off if the Stalkers don't start backing away. Obviously, it's imperative to keep the it's imperative to keep the it's imperative to keep these kind of Stalkers out and to keep the siege tank production going. That's what I was trying to get to, is keep the siege tank production going, so you can keep control in the areas pretty nicely. Stalkers blinking through. Bioforce is getting a lot done onto these Stalkers. The Stalkers do pull back just a little bit. Again, a few more of them warping in. Stimpack still coming up as well. Eleven SCVs going down, make it 12. Looking to maybe make it 13 here. Now 14, 15. Stalkers blink out down the left-hand side. Stalkers in the main base still coming through. Actually going to go onto the Stimpack. Okay, well, we're going to find a siege tank. Here is definitely falling apart a little bit. Dead SCVs there. Just see our Stalker still set up on the low ground. It really feels as though this is starting to be a little bit too much from Cure. I think more so than just a little bit too much. This is absolutely MaxPax in full control of our game number 2 and is absolutely pushing for victory. What's up, Jazzvan? Thank you so much for the 7-month resub. Thanks for being awesome. Thank you so much for supporting. Appreciate it. As MaxPax just unrelenting with this Stalker micro, with this Stalker onslaught, is just not going to let it up at all. The Stalker still coming through, fighting a little bit, taking some additional trades. Continue, just like I say, get so much damage dealt. The Bioforce still trying to back away, still trying to survive here as Cura's down so many SCVs. I mean, his time really has passed, honestly. Sometimes you just have to come around and accept it. Takes a few moments, you know. Gosh darn it, he full gate blinked me again. How could it be? And yet it happens so often. MaxPax is so good controlling and figuring out the ways to deal the most damage with these Stalkers. He gets a lot of it done a lot of the time. As Stalkers will sit here, continue to trade just a little tiny bit longer. Prism's going to evacuate them, and now we've got still Stalkers on the natural as well, as MaxPax will not stop hounding Cure and will not give him a chance to breathe. Not easily, at least. We will see one depot going down that mineral line as well, so another little something getting picked up. As the Stalkers are still pushing through. As the Prism actually dies. But of course, you're doubling the supply here as MaxPax. He's even floating money while doubling the supply. So if he was actually to spend all of his cash, he'd be even better off, as these Stalkers might just end the game, Prism or not. Blink Micro is a bit too powerful when you don't have the right amount of units as the Terran player. MaxPax 1, Cure 1, and it's best in the bottom left, our red Terran player. Getting the series tied up after his lead. Gonna try and fight for that lead again. It is Cure, and with the mistype on the GLHF, Blue Protoss hopefully doesn't let that sink into his mental at all. It is MaxPax in the top right. Obviously, we never see MaxPax on webcams. This might be a difficult question to answer, but in general, I wouldn't say I ever see MaxPax playing in such a way where it feels as though he's tilted. It feels as though he's kind of losing out on hope, or like he feels like the world's against him, or the series is against him, or whatever, you know? I don't know why, if that's just because I've never seen him kind of on camera, so I can't picture him kind of looking like devastated or like sad about losing while losing a game, and then I kind of, you know, make that impression on kind of like future matches. But, you know, I definitely feel like sometimes it feels like Clem just kind of gets demolished. It's just like you can kind of feel the emotion in his play maybe seeping through a little bit. Same with Cyril sometimes. I feel like I never feel like that with MaxPax. I feel like MaxPax is almost always playing the same kind of level, the same kind of stuff, right? He's just always feeling pretty comfortable in general. T-Rex go on to the right-hand side. T-Rex coming up, the gateway coming in. Cybercore coming up as well. So that warp gate will be on the way very, very soon. Was Clem beyond closer than the result indicated? No, it was not a good series. So the TLDR of Beyond Clem was Clem got so far ahead, like, I wouldn't say it was an unlosable position, but Clem got into such a good position game 1. Beyond brought it back, won the game, won game 2 in about 4 minutes with the first push, and won game 3. Kind of same again, like, Clem had a terrible start. Clem actually got himself back into it, and then Beyond just dismantled him in every single fight. It just wasn't even really close, honestly. Like, I don't think Clem truly won like a late game fight in that series. Marauder proxy here from Cure for this game number 3, as we do have the initial batteries coming up. MaxPax beginning his response to this. Batteries obviously will help you sustain your units and make it a little bit tough for these Marauders to really find anything, so eyes on this. Concussive Shell's about to finish, but I'm not sure anything from MaxPax is going to wander far enough forward for that Concussive Shells to really punish. And I guess with 5 Marauders, which we're going to be on soon, maybe you can just fight through battery healing. Marauders come forward, Stalkers get chased away. First Marauder goes down already. And so far, we've just drained a bit of battery energy, so yeah, so far so good on the defense of MaxPax. We're going to keep building Marauders, though. There's going to be a point where the Marauder count may be able to just shoot through the batteries. I kind of felt like we were there before, and then obviously we lose one Marauder, so you kind of lose a little bit of that potential. Marauders still trying to fight. A couple Stalkers still taking some shots. We do have ourselves the Army still just pressing forward. The battery will go down one more time. Sucked. And a chance to push those Marauders back, keep them away. So coming about is going to be seeing SCVs getting pulled forward. The Zealot is going to be trying to pull back the SCV pull because you're just completely all in with this as Cure. He is going to have a lot of these batteries drained of energy, so maybe he will have the chance, but there's honestly a lot of Stalkers. The probe pull is going to be frustrating. The Marauders are going to take a while to get through the probes, which means it's going to take them longer to get the Stalkers, although now the probes didn't put themselves in front properly. Marauder count is still better than maybe you're thinking. There's a lot of low HP ones. If we can just turn and tap a couple of those with Stalkers, that would be incredible. Stalkers continue to get these Marauders. I mean, the Marauder count's going down. MaxPax is still up by about 13 workers. It does just feel as though his defense here is absolutely spot on to what it needs to be. It does feel as though he's got this, especially as he chips those Marauders away. The Marauder count going down is pretty much the worst case scenario for you here as Cure, because then you just do not have the damage output needed to break through batteries. And again, that's kind of one of your initial things. One more Zod gets warped in. A couple probes still coming now. Marauders are still about halfway done. Marauders will just pull back. I mean, what do you do as Q? Pull the SCVs one more time and go for it. He's starting up Stim and he's starting up a command center. Having the Stim back in combat shield, continuing through just a couple probes. Continuing on out. Game will, like I say, kind of continue through, but Kira is not a good eco position, so this is not exactly ideal for him. This game turned into something of a macro game. He is not set up to play any kind of macro in this scenario, right? So, not exactly looking brilliant there. We're going to nab a probe. Going to take that down. Stim in combat still coming through. Just going to be seeing our Stalkers. Actually going to press forward already and just see that, hey, there's Marines here now as well. So now you know as MaxPax that he's kind of committing over here. MaxPax going to fight out on the map anyways. Is not afraid. This means he's fighting before the Stim is done, which might be one of the better things for MaxPax. Marauder count is dropping off. The reinforced Marines are not going to be as good against these Stalkers as, say, the Marauders would have been. And now, I feel like even if we get Stim, it's going to be rough. Combat shield is going to go down. Stim is going to finish at least. So that's one thing. But now you have no real units to utilize the Stim on anyway, so how much does it really matter? Orbital lifts off. Just going to pull back, and we do have our blink still being brought through. That's good. Just going to type GG's. He's being chased across the map. He has no unit production. He has no units. MaxPax has a 2-1 lead now in the best of 5, and Cure, like I say, apologies. But it didn't actually take away from the game at all, I suppose, because, like I say, we actually had to wait for Cure's camera to get fixed, so we actually didn't miss any StarCraft, so that actually kind of works out nicely, I guess. So, hell yeah. Welcome back, guys. As we have in the bottom left-hand side, the red Terran player, it is going to be Cure. Taking on in the upper right, our blue Protoss from Psystorm. This is MaxPax. Alright then, game number 4 of our match. As we get this up and rolling, we get ready to go. A couple of refineries coming up already as we get things underway. For the first few moments. Refineries again continue to go along here, and just going to be seeing our Nexus coming up as well for the first little bit. Obviously, MaxPax coming off that defense against those Marauders. But I'm feeling good. 2-1 up all of a sudden. Absolutely looking good in Game 2, dominating the game. Holds off a bit of funkiness from Q at Game 3. We'll see what kind of action we get going on from this. As now this probe goes in, nibbles the SCV. So the SCV takes a chance to get a couple of shots or so. And you have the SCV actually dropping the neighbor, obviously, to really just kind of block this information. So as MaxPax, you don't get to see that this is going to be, for example, the double gas. You don't see, you know, it's always a guessing game because it's very possible that this could, in fact, just be not a double gas and it's just an in-base expansion, and that you are just trying to play that kind of a mind game, right? Pylon onto the bottom side. Just going to see that Reaper is on the way up, about halfway done. Okay, warp gate still coming through as well, so just bringing that in as our Reaper just getting towards the natural already. Pylon chilling out on the south. Again, Command Center, Tech Lab. All of that coming through. Maybe seeing our probe continue to move about for a moment. As you have ourselves the Reaper showing up, and that probe just going to get pushed around for a little bit. Step shades up to high ground. Just going to be seeing our reactor coming through. A couple of gateways still coming out as well. As we do have our Reapers going to start getting some probes, so it's going to be Q the first to kind of strike here, first to start finding some amounts of damage. Reactor finishing up on the barracks, as we do have the Reapers continuing to go in after these probes, so doing okay for themselves. Like I say, getting some damage. Reapers are definitely showing up. I mean, that's a lot of damage dealt already. Can't really complain about how well that is going. Definitely going pretty awesomely initially. Now, we do have a little bit of delay on Q's command center, so that is going to be at least MaxPax fighting back to some extent. So MaxPax is not just going to be the one sitting there and taking all the damage. He is, at least, like I say, fighting back to some amount of, you know, decent level, I suppose. So that is nice. As we do have this CC. If you can cancel this CC, then brilliant. It's going to be tough with the siege tank in place. Of course, it would generally be kind of surprising if you managed to do it, but very happy to end up being surprised here. We take surprises. CC is going to continue, though, because the MaxPax is not going to be able to quite break through just yet. And the Reaper just going to take a few more shots, going to get pushed away, so it looks as though the Reapers are a little bit more under control now. As you see, a couple tanks just set up. Just going to be seeing the Stalkers taking some hits. It's just going to be seeing our tanks actually going to be able to get some damage there, so that goes a little bit better at the very least. Now our units... I'm just going to be having, again, Stimpack +1 coming through as we do move forward already, just with these Reapers. Again, looking for some more damage. Of course, MaxPax took so much damage early in this game, and we really find more on top of what we've already had. And we've seen the Reapers do go down. It would have been surprising to see the Reapers getting even further damage done, right? That really does become a little bit too extensive, perhaps, if you let those in one more time. Stim about to be done. Just going to be having our +1 coming through. Combat shield's also starting up on the side of Kios again. That bio play Let's continue to get set. Twilight Council is coming through here. Colossus and Extended Thermal Lance still coming out. And +1, the combat shield still coming through. Starport going to go floating over the factory there. Get ready to steal the reactor for a moment or so. So there's our first Medivacs on the way from Kyo. So his position definitely getting to be a little bit improved. Definitely getting to be a little bit better off at least. A little bit of harass coming around. A Marine already getting picked away. I'm just going to be seeing a pylon still up over there. Again, Extended Thermal Lance, the charge coming in. Just going to be seeing the Marines, tanks, and Medivacs will come out a little bit as well. So they're just also going to make a little bit of a step forward, a little bit of a move up just for the moment. So you see our Marines still going up against that gateway that is still out over on the edges. Nothing too much more coming of that just yet. Alright, Army still coming up. A few Marines are going to dive forward. Going to nab a probe already. So that probe goes down. Single Marine still just hitting on the warp gate. As I'm just going to see a tank firing. A couple of sentries are just going to go backing away there as well. And now the Medivacs are going to come through. Marines are already going to start going after these probes. A few probes going down. It's a bunch of Stalkers starting to get picked off as well. So even more damage being dealt. As we do have our super battery. Going to heal up for just a couple of moments there as well. Marines continue to go in. It's a good little drop here from Q, getting some good damage done as this game 4 trends towards the Terran player's favor. Medivac set up. A couple of Widow Mines are going to come forward. And you have, again, just more attempts to deal damages. MaxPax is just trying to tech up. MaxPax is just trying to get more set to go. And you see our probes really dropping in high numbers. Kira is just having a great time. I don't think the tech that MaxPax is building is going to necessarily withstand the amount of damage that Kira is able to kind of bring and put in place at the moment. As the Medivacs continue to boost about here, there, and currently kind of a little bit of everywhere. As Kira just continues to put on a lot of pressure in general. There's not really any reason for Q to kind of stop and slow down either, right? He's very much so in his comfort zone, dealing damage, slowing down his opponent, just putting himself into a very convincing spot. Instant cancel on this fourth base as well. That is not going to be coming up properly. As our bio still coming through, the couple of probes continue to go down. And gets picked off. Our bio now going to step up towards the high ground. Couple Stalkers going down. Widow Mine finding even more damage. I mean, really just everything that you need to try and avoid at the moment in the, game is not really happening. Another base goes down. Okay. At some point, you kind of just GG out and you just call this one a day, right? At some point, you just accept this game isn't yours. This game's not going your way. Just get out, reset, go to game 5. Go again. Units will unload once more. Pylon going to get picked away at. Medivacs, Marines, the Marauder still coming through. The couple of Widow Mines are still producing as our bio comes forward again. The battery gets picked off. A couple of these Stalkers are getting chased down. That's going to be 4 gateways depowered. Not that I think MaxPax really has the money to utilize the gateways. And he is indeed just going to be down and out in this one. GG. In the top, bottom left-hand side, as we have the finale of this series, starting us off here, looking to bring it back. Can he get himself into a winner bracket final against Bjorn? It is Cure. Taking on the blue Protoss in the top right from Storm. MaxPax. Alright, well. Here we go for one final round between these two. Who do you expect to come out on top? It's very difficult to say, honestly. An easy, it's been kind of a, well, easy to see kind of back and forth series. Both players having their strengths, both players having their weaknesses at different stages. He's going to open Engineering Bay block, which means that he does want to try and just disrupt the opening of MaxPax to some extent. MaxPax early probe across the map. Getting down to the bottom left. Into the natural and then up into the main base. As that SCV pulls around just a little bit as well. And we have ourselves the SCV going to go nibbling at the probe, so again, a bit more damage being dealt for the moment. Factory and the engineering base still coming up. The cyber core is halfway done. And Nexus also coming through. But now, as our SCV will just go chasing the probe about. Factory is going to be done fairly soon. The reactor coming up, the engineering base coming in. SCV just trying to get in. Again, MaxPax did take the third location instead of taking a instead of his natural because of the engineering bay blocks. That's maybe something that you try and utilize here as Q. Maybe that's something you try and push further into your favor and get something out of. Now the Stargate comes through, the reactor still continues to build. A couple of Hellions on the way out here from Kira as well, so bringing both those Hellions through just for the moment. Stargate is just ticking along. We do have that warp gate again getting going as well. Adept going to poke into the natural expansion. A couple of Hellions going to immediately show up and start hitting the Adept as the SCV will go down. Adept for the moment continues to chase as we do see our probes Chrono boosting out of the Nexus, Oracle, Warp Gate, Adept. Obviously just getting that Stargate going. Not the usual Stargate with an Oracle. Usually we see MaxPax play so many Phoenix. This time he's going to play the Oracle. A little bit of a different approach. Two barracks still coming up here. The Adept getting some shots off. Hellion already taking some damage. The Oracle will activate as the Adepts continue through. First Hellion already now going down. And just going to be seeing a couple more barracks still coming through as well. So all of that's still getting going just for the moment. As the Hellions are going to work around the left-hand side of the map. Cyclone coming up. Robo Facility Gateway coming out. Warp Gate is going to be done in just a couple of moments as well. Hellions move up into the natural. Phoenix going to lift up one Hellion. It's going to get brought into the skies. You see the other couple of Hellions coming through. That's a second probe going down. The Marines and the SCVs all still coming up as well. A couple of Adepts just coming through. Just seeing our Adepts going to go and try and grab a Hellion here. Stimpack and Combat Shield both building up. Portals also going to be set up right now as just have ourselves the starport building, the refineries building. And again, the few Phoenix and the Oracle already going to come make their way forward. Cyclone gets a lock on. Phoenix already taking a couple of shots. Oracle continues to head back down the bottom. Still seeing our Stimpack and Combat Shield coming through. A couple Marauders on the way as well. Well, obviously as our bioplay gets going, the Phoenix count grows. MaxPax looking to control the skies. Looking to control the game. You get a lot of map control with Phoenix, being able to fly around, see what's going on all of the time. Keep your eye out for those Terran pushes coming. These are all things you maybe look to try and take further advantage of as the game continues through. We do have a Nexus there up on that high ground, so that comes along as well. As we just have Phoenix still kind of perusing around the middle of the map, really trying to figure out just what it is that they can get done here for the next little bit. He's actually going to get there, and they, very narrowly grab a Phoenix. Not quite able to, though, so the Phoenix do get away. Pulling back over that side, just seeing our Colossus and Extended Thermal Lens still coming through as well. Colossus still Chrono boosting along. Concussive Shells, Combat Shields, and +1 attack all coming by, and the army of Kira back to the middle of the map, trying to see what may happen next. Single Marine over on the far right hand side, just seeing our Bioforce still coming around into the centers. We do have, again, Forge and the Twilight Council building up as well. Extended Thermal Lance is about to finish. Biocyclone still joining up over on the right side. Just going to be seeing our Zealot coming through. Just going to be seeing the Cyclone locking on. That Zealot will fall. As +1 attack is now about to finish. The +1 attack going to be done in just a few moments as well. We still see ourselves a couple extra barracks coming in on the side of Kira as this army continues to move about for a few more moments right now. Thank you, Osteel8, for the Prime sub for 6 months, by the way. Welcome back. Do you kind of like what Kira's getting to? Like, Kira's getting to this point where he's going to start splitting his army, where he's going to start hitting from different sides, and we know that that is absolutely a strength of Kira's in this matchup. I love that for him. Obviously, MaxPax is trying to play one of the more defensive compositions in the form of Phoenix Colossus. Marines coming through, already having one Phoenix taking some shots. Cyclones coming by as well for a little bit, trying to see what else we can do. Ghost Academy is about to complete. That means that we will have ghosts available here as well in the next little while. Bio still all joining together. MaxPax makes his way to the 4th base, and again, that's definitely where you might expect the Terran to really ramp up the pressure, right? As an extra base comes down, maybe ramp up the pressure and kind of keep this going a little. As our Bioforce comes through, is just going to go and drop the Nexus, so immediately, like I say, there's the pressure. Coming through, going to lose a couple units for it, but keeping that 4th base down, I think, is generally a pretty okay sign. So that's pretty much something that's okay for you. As again, everything else gets settled here. The High Templars still building through, so bringing those up into some Archons. MaxPax's army is improving, so we're making those improvements. We're getting that setup continuing. Bio still around the top side. We do have Archons and Colossi over on the far right. Bioforce is set to maybe make a bit of a play onto that position, so maybe something that we could look to do in the very near future, as we do have our Zealots starting to go down, and Archon in a little bit of trouble straight away as well. SCVs beginning to drop, as you have MaxPax making plays, showing a bit of confidence, not afraid to step forward with an army on both sides, in fact. So MaxPax understands the kind of game that we're playing this, in my eyes, very fragile kind of way of fragile style, because if you misjudge one of these fights, if you misjudge the numbers a bit, your army can disappear in a few seconds. That's kind of rough as well, as if this drop gets up the right-hand side and into the main base and you just didn't know about it. He's realized it now. He's checking with the Phoenix. He sees it a bit too late. Maybe time for a recall into the main. He could maybe recall into the main and then also have the Phoenix hunt down the Medivacs. Oh, it's kind of like 2 Colossi. That feels doable, although we do kind of take a moment to really kind of get the drop going. We weren't really on top of the Colossi. They run out of super battery range. Those Colossi will be chased down. 1 drops, 2 drop. And, well, the Archons died due to the EMPs. Now we've got the push continuing as we hit the right side again with the other units that have swung around to help out over here. Again, Cure continuously just maneuvering armies about to give him the best possible chance of openings and pressure and just dealing damage. This Bioforce in the back of the main is going to get cleaned up. MaxPax, again, losing the 2 Colossi. That was really the big loss for him. As our Vikings and our Widow Mines continue through. Bio stems forward, a battery is going to go down, a couple of Zealots get picked off. 2 more Zealots and a Sentry get warped in as well. Still seeing our 2-2 upgrades coming out. Also, our Bioforce sitting atop this ramp. As now the Archons try and give chase. 1 Zealot gets blown up. The Archons will continue to push. Hero just continues to back away for the moment. As we do have our CC morphing on the 4th base. So he gets up to his own 4th. MaxPax has defended, guys, again. It's not an easy task, but he's kind of finding his way through it. He's slowly making his way through this as our Bioforce sits here again just to trade out a couple of the Zealots that show up and everything. G2 on the way currently for Cure, so bringing the 2-2 upgrades in. Additional barracks coming up, the Medivacs are still producing. Of course, I able to knock down a Widow Mine as well is a nice additional bonus. Salami still settling towards the center, and we do have ourselves the extra barracks coming up, a couple Widow Mines coming through. Vikings able to nab an observer there, which of course knocking away some vision is always going to be a good thing. It's never going to be bad to take information away from your opponent if you can do so. That's exactly what happens in that scenario, is +3 attack, +2 armor still being brought up. Army moves up the left side a little bit. Bio comes through and EMP goes down initially. We capitalize on that once the Disruptor shot's gone. Honestly, this is not an army that really stands up for itself. Disruptor will die at the very least. Fire pulls back one more time. Just going to go to the top. Going to hit this Nexus. Couple of Disruptors. Zealots all coming through. +2 attack upgrade coming by. Just going to be having ourselves the still continued splitting of the armies. Q will not let up this pressure. He is absolutely content to maintain this kind of a position. Bam! One goes down. A couple of EMPs thrown out there. Of course, with EMPs, each and every one of these armies is very powerful, especially when you can knock the Archons down so quickly. Still going to have the front line of Zealots to deal with, as you've seen on the right side. I'm going to lift up and get out. There's not enough anti-air to punish the Medivacs for just being used as evacuation mechanic. Widow Mine fires, a couple of Zealots taking some shots. Vikings again come through. Colossus goes down. We've got ourselves a 3-3 upgrades coming up. The +1 ship weapons coming through. It's a lot of army in the upper left, and Q is still moving around a little. We do have our 3-3 upgrades continuing in as well. Bank, +1 armor. Also continuing out as you get a couple more Disruptors producing. Bringing those through also as our army needs to be careful of the Disruptor shot. Q is not watching over here. Oh my goodness, perfect shot. Ah, the second one stopped before it gets the 2 ghosts. Well, it was already a good first shot here from MaxPax. Gonna be the one actually pushing back a little bit now on both sides. Q is actually one kind of sitting on his bases defensively. The roles have flipped in the last couple of moments. Let's see if MaxPax can do anything with it as he eats a couple Widow Mine shots. Might still be tough to actually engage in, especially when you've got Planetary Fortress, you know, defensive positions that you've got to look at. Well, he comes down, he's going to start moving in towards this orbital. But you have our Bio going to try and fight back a little bit. Disruptor shot firing through. EMP's coming down. Disruptor still trying to find a little bit of something. 17 dead SCVs as we continue this army forwards. MaxPax just trying to get out with a little bit of his army preserved, right? If you lose everything here, then this ain't pretty. The Terran going across the map. So probably a very good time. I think MaxPax just recharges a couple of these disruptors. He even gives him that much more of a chance, that much more of an opportunity now. Coming by the watchtower. Kind of glad we see something a little bit later between these two. Definitely feels like that's something that we did not have really kind of set up before. You know, these are kind of a lot of games that were ending in the mid game. Now we're really kind of going backwards and forwards. Later in the game, really, this kind of continued duel taking place. Advanced Ballistics coming up. A few Liberators are still coming through. Just going to be seeing our Liberators sat here, and Stalkers and Archons begin to take some damage. Vikings are going to make their play onto the Colossi. However, the Vikings are also pretty low on HP, and we actually don't even get a Colossus before we're pushed back. And now MaxPax, well, he's lost a lot of supply, but he's still trying to push through. He has a sizable attack on the other side of the map as well. It's going to be part of the problem. Fire comes in, knocks down that pylon. Still the rest of these units pushing through. SCVs will take a bit more damage. +3 attack, Disruptor, a couple more Stalkers. Let's move up one more time. Just going to jump on this base. Kind of needs to get rid of this base, does MaxPax, because if he doesn't, I feel like he's just losing too much across the map. He needs some progress, but he isn't finding enough of it. And Cure is going to take it down 3-2 in this best of 5. Whole 5-game series.